when I was in prison, I reprogrammed myself and I did a lot of reading, a lot of studying, especially about politics, about the laws of the land, about slavery, which every nationality been in slavery. I just read a lot. And Charles White made a good comment. The Democratic Party was based and founded on the KKK, and the Republican Party also were based and founded on white supremacy. But they having us at African Americans fighting every 4 years saying who's right and who's wrong. Now, if a Democratic person is an African American, they go hard for them. As a Republican individual is an African American, they look down on them. That's kind of ludicrous to me. How can you pick one party over the other one if you have a black individual speaking up for that party? How can you pick and choose? Because if you look through history, from Reconstruction, after slavery, Reconstruction, all the way up to the Renaissance, the Civil Rights Movement, the Jim Crows, uh, all the legislation that been established with from for civil rights with the Republicans. Democrats always shoot everything down. Now with the Democratic Party, it's the party of holding you back, dumbing you down, keeping you uneducated, giving you welfare in Section 8, and lock me up policies. When it comes down to the Republican Party is all about independence, doing for yourself, working hard, getting an education. Now, people can pick and choose what they want to do. Now, when I was in the federal system in the 80s, I seen what went on with the war on drugs. It was ludicrous. It was ludicrous. How can you have a war on drugs when you're only attacking one culture? And that was the Democratic Party with the Bidens, the Clintons, and so forth. The Kamala Harris. All these people, don't forget, these are the people that want to put your brothers and sisters in prison for a long time. So I tell people, there's no way in this human world that I will ever vote again. I don't care what a person say. I don't care what they think. I would stop begging people that kindly do stuff for us. George Ford, George Floyd, I can't breathe. Eric Gardner, I can't breathe. Please don't shoot me. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And these people constantly getting gunned down. Now, when President Barack was in office, what did he do for us? The first time I voted for him, because he was a black man. That's all. I fell into that trap. The second time, he couldn't get my vote because I realized he didn't do anything for us. He only passed 3 legislations for individual groups of people, and it wasn't African American. So when people going who y'all and jumping up and down and doing cartwheels and flips for an individual cause they had dark skin, that don't mean they think like you. Don't forget, Barack never grew up in a black household. His mom was white, his grandparents was white, his his grandfather was white. He grew up in Indonesia, Thailand, whatever, and Hawaii. Miss Harris, she grew up in Canada in a traditional Indian household. And both of her parents were highly educated. So these people don't have the same ideology as a person that's from the streets. They don't. So how can you sit there and think that a person who never been in the trap, who never been in the ghetto, who never dealt with poverty, will have the same mindset as you? So don't be fooled. And then people always say in the shop, hey man, you got to vote for the lesser of two evils. Evil is evil. My man said, I'm BD. And when I tell people evil is evil, yes, evil is evil. You can't say Satan, Diablo, or the devil is 3 individuals. No, it is the same thing. So I just choose not to vote no more. And then me personally, by me being in the system, I got myself locked up. If nobody fought, I can't blame my situation. I can't blame poverty. I can't blame the inner city. I made bad decisions and choices. But I would never vote again. Never, 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 never. For one, I don't like prosecutors. Cause anytime I ever been in the court system, well, it was only once, I was a first-time offender and still was sentenced over 20-some years for hustling and selling drugs in the inner cities of Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia. So I would never, ever like a prosecutor because all they do is lie. I used to live in the hood also up here. So I despise prosecutors because they're not for the right thing. They're gonna lie. All this about padding my numbers. And I'm constantly seeing videos that she making the dumbest lies that don't even have to be lied about with that goofy ass smile and laugh. And we falling for that bullshit. I'm not falling for it because like I said, at the end of the day, I do not care. Now, back to the topic at hand. I like to come on here and tell people if you come out the state system, the federal system, or even the county jails, the way to change, man, is get around different people. Also, you got to believe in a higher power. You should not want to be, you should not want to be in a situation where you constantly being locked up. You constantly let your homie control you. And a lot of people say, I'm not a follower. You're not a follower. Why you running around with different men and different groups every day? You can't tell me you're gonna be in a circle of individuals and you're not gonna follow them. You gotta be an individual. And most people nowadays is not individuals. They gotta be with a group of people to feel good about themselves. I did 2 years in Cook County, internal. And like I said, you get out of there, man, you should never ever want to go back to jail. And he said, regardless if they're innocent. Well, internal, they don't care about you being innocent. It's about the war on crime, the war on drug, padding my numbers. So when I run for political office, I can say I was hard on crime. I just sentenced people to 8,000 years. That's all they worry about. Cause when you get found guilty, when they send that paperwork up to the judge and they shake each other's hands, they walk out of that courtroom, they're not gonna think about you no more. And then your lawyer is not gonna think about you anymore because your lawyer do not have a relationship with you. He have a business agreement. And anytime the average person, not like the mob or the cartels, where we had these lawyers on retainer, and a lawyer specifically just work for us. We having one of our homies, hey man, get such and such, hey man, get such and such, hey man, get such and such. We thinking these lawyers are good lawyers. We haven't done any research on them. You cannot find cases that they winning at the same as yours, especially when it come out to a drug case. Or I'm from the state of Ohio, second coming. So when people say, man, get this lawyer, how do you know this lawyer is a proficient lawyer? How you know this lawyer don't have a problem with a person who was selling drugs before? He might have an aunt, an uncle, a child, a friend that OD'd. So you cannot go by that. You cannot go by that because somebody referred somebody to you. And we don't put anybody on retainers and they work for us and they work for us. So when we go in that courtroom, the prosecutor and the lawyer, they all friends. They hang in the same circles. They go to the same bars after work and drink. They talk about your case and they laugh about it. Say, hey man, you know what? Man, let's get this clown 10 years. And you think you came up. So no man be in jail for more than 3 or 4 years for selling drugs. I remember the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s, you would get a life sentence for selling cannabis. Now they got cannabis in every state. They let you drive around smoking the shit. They don't even sit there and pull you over you smoking weed and take it down for being intoxicated, for being high. So they just tell you how the game go. This shit is a game. So let's stop going to prison. Let's stop voting for people who don't have our best interests in heart and stop doing the crime and letting the government win. They know they're going to lock us up. They know you're going to do a crime. People have a tendency, man, to let society dictate their future. I came out of the system after almost 18 years straight in the federal system. I did 6 months halfway house, 6 months home confinement when I got out. So you might well say 19 years. And I told myself, after I got out the halfway house and home confinement, and I walked that 5 years down to supervisory, I would never get in trouble again. Brittany Green. He's 6 to do 3 for 3 pounds of weed, 1998. Now look at that, Brittany. Now why the government can't go and look at everybody who had a criminal conviction for marijuana, take that off their record? Why they can't exonerate you and take it off the record? Now the cannabis is illegal. Now they realize that cannabis, quote unquote, don't harm anyone. But you still got that conviction. They should sit there automatically take it off your record in that state. But they won't. And it's still a lot of people still in the feds. I don't know about the state, only their federal time. It's still a lot of brothers and sisters locked up in the federal system. Are you from Indiana? What part of Indiana? And they is not taking it off their books. They're not releasing them. Yes, they release a couple of people, but it's not enough. So when we're gonna stop, man, letting these people dictate our life? Like I said, I've been home almost 20 years, and I said I refuse to go back. And I'm making tens of thousands of dollars on the street. Okay, I know where that's at. And I was making a lot of money on the street. Did what the government say. The government said I was making an excess $250,000 per week at my height. And I was on an 18-month investigation at that time. So if you add that up, that's $1 million a month for 18 months. So they say for indictment purposes that I made $18 million in 18 months. And I told myself, no money in the world is worth that, me going to jail for 20 years. It's not. When I came home depressed. I came home confused. I came home dealing with anxieties. And I was going through a lot of different emotions because, like, damn, I'm coming home. I need to get this money. I'm used to getting this money. I was the man back in the day. As a different group of people out here, but my name superseding itself. So people hearing about me who didn't even know me, who weren't even born, because people keep saying stuff about me when I came home. And it was almost pulling me back into the game. I end up having a lot of different plugs and connects from the joint. I said, man, can I make this call? Man, I can get a ton of this. I can get hundreds of this. I can get this. I can get this. And man, you can be a millionaire within a month or two once you get a little crew together. Then I thought about it, man, I can get that shit. One bad mistake, I'm back in jail for the rest of my life. I like, nah, it ain't worth it. So I got out here and grind. I got one job. I got two jobs. The second job, I started investing that money. Then my mom had died and she left me an insurance policy, and I took that insurance policy and bought 4 pieces of property and started renting them out to Section 8. And as time went on, I started flipping the property, flipping them, flipping. Well, when I say flipping, I started taking loans on the property, buying other people's property. So I ended up getting 23 pieces of property. Now I'm back down to 17. And also, I ended up opening a barbershop and beauty salon because I started cutting hair and I got my license. And I own 2 group homes, and I'm in the stock market and also in the cryptocurrency. So I have 5 to 6 sources of income coming in. So why would I take a chance of hustling? Well, Brittany Green, my high IQ came from me listening, being coachable and teachable, and I was teachable. And I also started following people, even when I was in the joint, when I came home, that were doing positive things. When I got into the business, real estate, one of my friends that used to hustle back in the day turned legit. He was in the real estate game. Then when I got into the group homes, I got into a partnership with an individual who was already running them. So we opened up several more, and became partners because I couldn't put my name on the actual license from being a felon. Then I also were blessed with running to a guy that was in the stock market that worked for Charles Schwab that happened to be married to my sister, and he blessed me with the market. So I took everything, man, as a learning purpose, and I listened. I humbled myself, and I wanted all the information, and I applied the information to my life. So a lot of times people give you the information, and people don't apply it. And now I apply everything to my life because if you don't apply it to your life, it's worthless information. So that's how my life changed. And I became a 7-figure individual in less than 20 years. December 2025 be 20 years of my freedom, from incarceration. And I became 7 figures. My goal is within 2 years to 3 years to be over 8 figures in my portfolio. And it's going to happen because I grind like that. I haven't been locked up for 10 years, been clean, happy, married now. That's a good blessing. Stay focused. And whatever dreams you have, go for them. Go for them. Just stay away from negative people. Cause the better you're doing, people trying to shoot it down. Just stay away from negativity. Find people, man, that thinks like you. Or find people who can reprogram your thoughts. When I was out there, I was hanging out with a lot of cutthroat people, you know what I'm saying? We were putting in work. And there's nothing to brag about. Everything I'm on here talking about is documented, so it's nothing to brag about it. I did my time for it. I went to jail, but when you sit back, all that was for nothing. Because when I did that time in jail, the people who I was rolling with, the people who I would have went to war with, they didn't send me any money. They didn't look out for my children. They didn't look out for my family. They wasn't coming to see me. They didn't put no money on my books. So that was a learning lesson. See, you only could fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me the second time, shame on me. I'm not gonna shame myself. Even when I came home after almost 20 years, within a year or two, I had passed 75% of my homies. 75% of my homies that was on the streets or that I was dealing with, I passed them. And that was ludicrous to me. Some went to jail. Some only did a couple of years and got themselves together. Some started using drugs, got themselves together. Some stayed on drugs. But none of my friends did more than 3 or 4 years in the system ever. They might have got out, went back, got out, went back, but they had nothing to do with the group of guys that I was leading when I was hustling. So when I tell people pick and choose your friends, pick and choose your friends. Because your friend can be either a helpmate or a death sentence, a helpmate or a life sentence. So you got to pick and choose the people who you want to be around. Me personally, 99.9% of the time, I'm by myself. Now, I can't be by myself when I'm running the shop. I can't be by myself when I'm at the boxing gym. But like making my moves, living my life, doing my businesses, uh, dealing with my portfolios, traveling, 99% of the time I travel by myself. Nowhere in the world I'm gonna sit there and be around people who I don't feel I can trust. Cause I've been in that system, so I can do my time by myself on the streets. I did it in prison by myself, so you damn sure know I can do my time by myself out here. Period. Period. Well, I'm about to get out here because I just came from the gym. I gotta get in the shower and I gotta be at the shop at 10. And Brittany, just stay focused. And anybody in here watching, please like and share. And please, man, stay out of harm's way. If your friends dealing with something illegal, man, just get away from them, man. Don't put yourself in a situation where you'll be under a federal or state indictment and you have anything to do with it. So peace out. And like I said, Brittany Green, I'm gonna look you up on here. If you have a page, hit me private. Let me know you got a Facebook, an Instagram, a TikTok. And on TikTok, my name is the Accidental Investor 419. Accidental Investor 419. And if you see me on Instagram, it's gonna be Success Out the Prison. Cause I try to tell people, if you were doing anything on the street illegally, you can do it legal. No, we all CEOs when you out there hustling. No matter what kind of crime you're doing, you can turn it into a positive. So y'all have a blessed day. Peace out. Os.